And this is Joe again with another movie review, and I'm going to be doing the 1992 film My Cousin Vinny. It was Joe Pecsi, Mr. Tomei, Ralph Macchio, Naismith, and Fred Gwynn in his last movie role. Those of you who don't know My Cousin Vinny, that's the movie where Mr. Tomei won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for the role. And there's a little controversy with that. We'll get to it in a few minutes. My Cousin Vinny is a movie where Joe Pecsi plays, coming off his roles in Goodfellas and Lethal Weapon 2, where he plays a Brooklyn lawyer who's defending his cousin on a murder charge in Mississippi. And it is the funniest movie ever based on law, because most law movies usually dramas, and it was the first really successful courtroom comedy. Well, there was a lousy movie with Pauly Shore, Jury Duty, but that's it's like one of the worst movies ever made. This one is not only one of the best comedy ever made about a courtroom premise. And of course, this movie is also one of the first few movie roles that Ralph Macchio had after the Karate Kid series. And I think that's like really his first really adult role. He plays, like I said, Joe Pecsi's cousin, or Vinny's cousin, who's traveling through the South with his friend, and he gets into trouble because he goes into a convenience store, and after he leaves with his friend, he accidentally shoplifts a can of tuna, and the two friends thought they were going to get arrested for shoplifting, but meanwhile they realized that the clerk was killed not too long after they left the store. So they called, or Ralph Macchio calls his mother, and they realized that his cousin Vinny was a lawyer. He graduated law school, he's full finished, but the problem is that he was only been practicing for 6 weeks, because it took him 6 years to pass the bar exam. So they had a little bit of funny bit there. So he Joe Pecsi came down with his girlfriend / fiance, played by the hot, smoking hot Marissa Tomei, and they pretty much steal the rest of the movie. I do remember seeing the review done by Cisco and Ebert, and Ebert didn't like the fact that I went off the storyline of the two guys, the two friends, the Ralph Macchio's character and his friend, and they focused most of the rest of the movie on Joe Pecsi's and Marissa Tomei's character, and you see the two of them constantly fighting throughout most of the rest of the film. But the film itself is, very funny, very good, and I still watch the movie occasionally today, and it's still funny. Especially when you get the relationship between Joe Pecsi and Marissa Tomei, and throughout the film. And this film was directed by Adrian Lyne, who's most famous for directing 9.5 Weeks and Favorite Faction. This is, I think, really his first comedy, or at least pretty much challenged him to do a comedy film. And he did it with this one, and you can tell this is a real low budget film. Because other than Joe Pecsi, Marissa Tomei, and Ralph Macchio, most of the cast are character actors, and it kind of shows with the low rent look of the film, but it works. It works for the film, and it also uses a plot device for comedy. So like I said, they always try to pull stuff at Joe Pecsi's character to emphasize how low they could go to torment the Joe Pecsi character. For example, they always have like whistles going off in the factory mill at 5 in the morning. They have like a freight train going through like at 2:45 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They have like whistles, they're slaughtering pigs across the street from the motel they're staying in. I mean, it was constantly one thing after another. And then prosecutor that's ready to stay in the woods to get away from all that noise. And okay, so the first night they're staying in there, they have like all the wild animals, all the owls, hooting all night long. So he gets to be one thing after another. The other thing that happens in this film is the judge also torments him in the movie because he always throws him in jail, tortures him with contempt of court because of the way he dresses. Because instead of wearing a regular suit you can see lawyers wear in all these court shows and all the other movies, instead of wearing an actual suit like a cloth suit, he wears a leather suit. So at one point he goes through a series about that. He didn't know the judge was serious, and now he actually got an actual suit in one particular scene, but his suit got all full of mud. And he couldn't get another suit, so his girlfriend gets him like this bellhop outfit from a second-hand store. So the judge says, explain the whole outfit. So he goes through this whole dialogue about how his other suit got messed up and couldn't get clean. You're gonna have an 1 hour cleaners in this town. Not like in New York when we have a 1 hour cleaners. Here you're gonna have a 1 hour cleaners, and the people who are on the store that I bought the suit from, the whole store has the flu. So the whole store is closed. So I had to go to get this thing in a second-hand store. So you either wear another jacket, which you're going to find me in contempt for, or wear this thing. So I'm wearing this thing because I don't want to get in trouble from you. So the judge says, are you on drugs? I said, no, I'm not on drugs. I don't like your attitude. So what else is new? So you're in contempt of court. So he goes, excuse my language here, folks. That's a fucking surprise. Just like that. And he finally goes to jail. So and he says to his girlfriend, don't bail me out. Or finally get some sleep tonight. And he does. So of course, when he gets serious in the trial, because for the whole preliminary hearing, he doesn't ask any questions at all. But then when he gets to the trial, he says the best and the funniest opening statement ever, because actually the prosecutor makes his opening statement, and then Ralph Armstrong's friend decides to go with the public defender because he didn't like the way Vinny was handling the case. So then Vinny makes his opening statement, and he says everything the guy said there is bullshit. He says it just like that. And still laugh when he hits that line because it's like something out of Mad Magazine, something a scene that you would like to see. Wouldn't you just love just once to see a defense attorney in a court case say whatever the prosecutor said there is bullshit? I mean, just once, you like to see it happen because but it's not going to happen though. But that's how funny that scene was. Now, of course, guess what happened? He does win the case. But throughout the whole movie, you see him trying to BS the judge, saying he has all these years of experience. He said he has 16 weeks of experience, not 6 weeks experience. And he makes up a fake name. So the judge says, "Hey, I go by Jerry Gallo or Cowell, and I go with Cowell with a C and not a G and all that stuff." But he does get the finding as proof from the judge because of a side note for this film, because the prosecutor says they have a scene with the prosecutor playing Renee Smith, who played Perry White in the Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman television series back in the 90s. And so he tells Vinny how he became a prosecutor. Because Vinny started off as a defense attorney, and he got this guy off for the third time when I know he's guilty of sin, and I couldn't. Got tired of putting guilty guys back on the street, so I decided to become a prosecutor instead. So I went to the other side. So he says, "Oh, how did you become a lawyer?" And so Joe Pecsi says, "Oh, I got this bogus parking ticket, and I went to fight it in court, and he got the officer on the stand, and he pounced on him until he admitted that he was in the wrong and I was in the right. And the judge on the case, who heard the ticket, Judge Malloy, he got such a kick out of seeing me, defend myself in court against this officer. And so after the case, he called me over and says, you make a good prosecutor. We didn't know what the hell that was. I never knew what a prosecutor was. I didn't know what I was talking about. So he helped me get into law school. And every once in a while, he asked if he could help me out. If I had any trouble learning the stuff, I could help you. I could help tutor you or whatever. And he was a nice guy. And for him to go out of his way like that, for me, he didn't know me from a hole in the wall. It was so nice that he went out of his way like that. And I appreciate him, and we still we're still friends. And he keep asking me if I can help him out. If he can help me out, just give him a call and I'll help you. And so Marissa Tomei's character, she called him and got help and helped him with this judge, because the judge was giving him the wrong time. And of course, Judge Malloy helped him out, and even though he never really met Judge Malloy, through the whole movie, just mentioned him by name. I also remember this movie was so successful at the time that they always wanted to make like a sequel to it. But for some reason, the movie is like over 20 years old now, and for some reason they never got around to making a sequel for My Cousin Vinny. Because at that time, anytime when a movie is successful, you gotta make a sequel out of it. But this was one of the few successful movies that you never had a sequel to. Which I think is a good thing, because if they any sequel that ruined the movie, but if they had maybe a television show, maybe that would work. If they made a television show out of My Cousin Vinny, maybe that would work. But I don't think it would work either, because you have to bring back almost the entire original cast to make this work, and you couldn't bring back Fred Gwynne's character because, like a year or so after this movie, or a year or 2 years after this film, Fred Gwynne had passed away. Within a year or year and a half, something like that, he died. So we couldn't bring him in. And of course, Marissa, like I mentioned earlier, Marissa Tomei won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for this role, and which was a bit controversial at the time, because it was the only. I think Fred Gwynne was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor for My Cousin Vinny, but Marissa Tomei won, and I think one of the reasons why she won because she was the only American actress nominated in that character. Everybody else was either British or foreign-born actress. Most of them, I think, were British actresses, and she was the only one who wasn't British. Actually, she's American. She's an American-born actress. She won the Academy Award for this film, so it's been a controversial win. But in terms of the film itself, I do enjoy the film. I still enjoy it to this day, because I think all the performances were terrific in this film, especially with Ralph Macchio. And you can say his first really adult movie role, and especially the way he says, "I shot the clip." Because the way he said it, and there is a video of him on YouTube discussing, I think it's like an hour-long video, I think, with him discussing the Cry Kid films, and they open it up to questions from the audience, and somebody asked him if he could say the "I shot the clip" line, and most of the question was, how many takes did they do to say that line? And he said, well, I think it took over 25 takes, and they used I believe they used the first or second take. And he said, "I shot the clip." He says, "I shot the clip." Yes, when did you shoot? I shot the clip. That was like the first or second take. But the movie itself, if kids want to watch it, you have to be warned that this movie did get an R rating. not because it has any, like nudity or excess violence in it. It really didn't have that excess violence or nudity. It's because of the constant R word. No, not the O word, the F word. Excuse me. It was the constant use of the F word in this film. Like almost every other word from Joe Pecsi and Marissa Tomei was the F word. Anytime they had a little dialogue scene, they used the F word in that scene. So that's my review of My Cousin Vinny. Please like the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video on your Facebook pages. Thanks for watching.